Okay, so I'm jumping all the way to the last problem in lesson 14 because unfortunately, the second activity in lesson 14 requires you guys to meet up and have conversations with your partners. But unfortunately, since you're at home, we can't participate in that activity. But no worries, it won't count against you for your assessment. So let's begin. Lynn read the first 54 pages from a 270-page book in the last 3 days. Diego read the first 100 pages from a 320-page book in the last 14 days. Elena read the first 100 pages from a 480-page book in the last 5 days. If they continue to read at these rates, who will finish first, second, and third? Explain or show your reasoning. So when you see something that says explain or show your reasoning, it either wants you to write it out in paragraph form, or it wants you guys to either use something to justify your answer, okay? Something that the reader can understand. What are you trying to say? All right? So as you guys can tell, I've already set my tables up, so I am definitely going to show my reasoning for this question. Okay, I'm taking that option. So let's jump into it. I want to start with Lynn. Okay, I'm going to look at this ratio for Lynn. Okay, so Lynn read 54 pages in 3 days, and this is a 220-page book. So let me switch to blue. Okay, so Lynn's goal is to read 270 pages, so I'm going to let this represent the number of pages. And I know all of you guys are young, so you might be like, hashtag, no, this represents numbers. So I'm going to put that to the side. Number. And this side is going to represent number of days. So her first ratio is 3 to 54. Now, I had to create a different ratio for her. If I wanted to double that, it could be 6 to 108. If you guys are wondering what number I multiply by 2. Okay? Then I can multiply by 3, which would give me 9 to 162 days. Okay? So then I can multiply by 4, which would give me 3 times 4, which is 12. 54 times 4, which is 216. Then I can multiply by 5. When I multiply by 5, it gives me 15. And then 5 times that. Wait, hold up. I think we probably made it to 270 pages. So let's see. Okay, let's see. 5 times 54. It's 20. And yes, I did make it 270. So let me erase that right here. So let's do 6 just for keepsake. So 6 would be 18. Oh, let me change to my pen. 6 would be 18. And then 6 times 54 would be 324. Okay, but Lynn made her goal, and I'm going to highlight that in orange right here. Okay, let's look at Diego. Diego read the first 100 pages from a 320-page book in the last 4 days. So Diego is actually starting off with 4. So Diego will be, and I'm going to change the red for Diego. I still want to title my columns, number of days to number of pages. Okay. So you can start off with 0, which I should have started off with 0 for Lynn, but it's totally fine. But I can start off with 4 to 100. So if I multiply 4 times 2, 100 times 2 is going to be 8 to 200. If I multiply 4 times 3, 100 times 3 is going to be 300 to 12, or 12 to 300. Okay. If I multiply it times 4, it's going to be 16 to 400. But Diego only has a 320-page book, so somewhere between these days, 12 to 16 days, he finished reading his book. So if I want to, I could figure out, well, how many days, like how could I get to 320? How many days would be 320 pages, okay? Because 12 is 300, right? So I'm going to write this ratio to the side. 12 will be 300, but the goal will be 320. So a quick way we could figure this out is we could divide 320 to figure out what was being multiplied. We could divide 320 divided by 300. Scratch these zeros out. So then you got 32 over 30. If you want to, you could simplify it. If not, you could just divide it. And this will be 1.00, which I'm put 1.0 and then continue to 6. Okay, because it continued. So I'm going to say it took about 13 days for Diego. About 13 days for him to finish his book. Okay. Now let's look at Elena. Elena read in 5 days she read 160 pages. And let me use green for her. So I need to start off by tiling her columns, number of days, to number of pages. Okay. So then it goes from 5 to 160. Then if I multiply it times 2, it's going to be 10 to 2 times 160 is 320. Then if I multiply 3 times 5, which would be 15. And then if I multiply 3 times 5, 3 times 160, it would give me 480, which that's how many pages she had. So it took her 15 days. Okay. So if I had to determine a winner, how would you do this? How would you determine a winner? Okay. So Lynn, she had started with 3 days, right? 3 days she read 54 pages, but in 15 she finished her book. She finished her book in 15 days, so the first place winner would be Diego. Diego is first place, so I'm going to write in black for that. Diego is first place. And they both share second and third place because, well, then again, I don't know, like, think about it. Now, she took 15 days to read her book, which is 270 pages. But she took 15 days to read a 480-page book. So who would you give second place to? If I were you, I would give second place to her because she read more pages in the same amount of days, and she read only 270 pages. So I would give her third place.